Can Hulk with the Red Lantern ring beat Superman? In the darkness of space where the stars burn silently, a crimson meteorite crashes into the Nevada desert, leaving a trail of blood in its wake. It is more than just a chunk of space rock. At its core is a red lantern ring, a symbol of pure rage forged from the fires of the Red Zone where souls consumed by hatred dwell. The ring vibrates, emitting haunting whispers, seeking a worthy host, one who carries the unquenchable flames of anger. On the edge of the desert, Bruce Banner, a scientist with a torn soul, is running from himself. The rage that turned him into the Hulk is boiling. As his trembling hand touches the ring, a crimson energy bursts out, enveloping his body. Banner screams, but the scream quickly turns into a Hulk roar, a new Hulk with eyes burning like blood and a ring glinting on his giant finger. The Red Lantern ring chose him not for his will or courage, but because he was the embodiment of eternal anger. From above, a blue figure swept across the sky. Superman, the Man of Steel, sensed the unrest. The energy from the ring shook the air, a warning of impending disaster. He landed in the desert, his eyes glowing with hope and duty. Before him stood the Hulk, his massive body vibrating with red energy, his fists clenched as if ready to crush the world. Superman, at the speed of light, rushed towards Hulk, hoping to quickly incapacitate him before his rage became uncontrollable. He threw a punch as powerful as lightning, enough to collapse a mountain. But Hulk, now enhanced by the Red Lantern ring, raised his hand. A crimson force field appeared, blocking Superman's punch like an impenetrable wall of steel. Hulk roared, and from the ring, a giant energy hammer twice the size of a skyscraper appeared. He swung the hammer down, creating an explosion that shook the desert. Superman dodged just in time, but the ground beneath him cracked open, sand flying like a storm. He flew into the air, his eyes emitting heat rays, aiming straight at Hulk. But the ring reacted, creating a crimson shield, completely absorbing the heat rays. "You cannot defeat Hulk," Hulk shouted, his voice echoing like thunder. From the ring, he creates a series of energy spears, which he launches at Superman at incredible speeds. Superman, with superhuman reflexes, dodges each spear, but he realizes that Hulk's strength now lies in more than just his muscles. The ring has transformed him into a war machine whose creativity is limited only by his rage, and Hulk's rage is limitless. In the desolate Nevada desert, the red light from the Red Lantern ring illuminated the sky as if a second sun were burning. Hulk, now not just a green giant, but a god of destruction, stood tall in the cracked earth. His eyes burned like two furnaces, and every breath he took emitted red energy, causing the air to vibrate with heat waves. The ring on his giant finger shimmered, as if whispering words of incitement, amplifying his rage to an uncontrollable level. Superman, despite being pushed back by the red energy dragon, was still undeterred. He hovered in the air, his cape in tatters, but his deep blue eyes still burned with will. He knew that Hulk's strength now came not just from his muscles, but from the ring, an endless source of energy fed by pure rage. Superman had faced powerful foes from Darkseid to Doomsday, but never before had he felt such a terrifying power, as if the entire universe were screaming through each blow of the Hulk. The Hulk raised his hand, and from the ring, a new energy structure formed. This time, it was not a dragon or a hammer, but a giant red fortress so large that it blocked out the sun. This fortress, with towering energy walls decorated with sharp spikes like blades, looked like a citadel of destruction. From the center of the fortress, a red pillar shot straight into the sky, shaking the space and causing the clouds to disintegrate. Superman, despite possessing the power of a Kryptonian god, felt the pressure of this pillar, as if it were weighing down on his very soul. "You cannot escape," Hulk roared, his voice like a storm echoing across the desert. He raised his hand, and from the fortress, hundreds of tentacles of red energy shot out, each 1 mile long, wrapping around Superman like giant snakes. Superman tried to force himself free, but the tentacles tightened the red energy, eating away at his impenetrable skin. He screamed not from pain, but from determination. He focused all his strength, his hands clenched, and threw a supersonic punch, shattering the tentacles into crimson shards. But the Hulk did not stop. His rage, amplified by the ring, seemed to have no limits. He stepped forward, each step cracking the ground, and from the ring emerged a new structure, a sphere of red energy, nearly as large as the Earth, similar to Hal Jordan's feat of resisting the pull of the planet. The sphere was not only huge, but also radiated destructive energy, as if it were created from the very core of anger. Hulk raised his hand, and the sphere began to move, heading straight for Superman. Superman, sensing the danger, flew up at the speed of light, trying to push the sphere out of orbit. He placed both hands on the surface of the sphere, his muscles tensed, and used all his strength to fight back. The red light from the sphere shone in his face, blinding his eyes, but he did not give up. "I will not let you destroy everything," Hulk, he shouted, and with a tremendous effort he pushed the sphere up, causing it to deflect and fly into space. But Hulk only smiled, a cold and menacing smile. "You think that's all?" He raised his hand, and from the ring a wave of red energy exploded, spreading hundreds of miles. This wave was more than just energy. It carried the Hulk's rage like a flood, sweeping away everything in its path. Superman, agile as he was, could not dodge it. He was engulfed by the wave, his body thrown through a mountain range, leaving a long trail of smoke in the sky. The Hulk stepped forward, his massive legs shaking the ground. "Superman is weak, the Hulk is the strongest," he shouted, and from the ring a storm of red energy formed, sweeping across the desert. Sand flew, rocks crumbled, and the sky seemed to be dyed red. Superman, wounded, stood up from the rubble, blood flowing from his forehead, but his eyes remained steadfast. He knew that if he did not stop the Hulk, not just Earth, but the entire universe could be consumed by this rage. Superman, exhausted as he was, did not fight with strength alone. He understood that the Hulk, no matter how powerful, was still Bruce Banner, a human trapped in his own rage. He flew up, hovering in front of the Hulk, despite the storm of red energy that roared around him. "Bruce," he called, his voice echoing through the wind. "I know you're there. The ring is using you, but you're stronger than it. Don't let your rage define you." For a moment, a flicker of hesitation flashed in Hulk's crimson eyes. Inside his chaotic mind, Bruce Banner struggled. He saw himself standing in a sea of red fire, chained by the ring's energy cords. "I can't," Banner whispered, his voice weak, drowned out by the Hulk's roar. The Red Lantern ring, like a parasite, pumped more red energy into his body, extinguishing any glimmer of hope. "No, Banner, only Hulk," he roared, and a new wave of energy exploded, sending Superman flying miles away. Superman crashed through a mountain, his body leaving a deep crater in the ground. He lay there breathing heavily, but he did not give up. He stood up, his tattered cape flapping in the wind. He looked at Hulk now like a living volcano, and realized that physical strength could not overcome this rage. He had to strike at the Hulk's mind, at Bruce Banner, the only one who could restrain the monster. "Hulk," Superman said, his voice low but powerful. "You think your rage makes you strong, but it is only destroying you. Bruce Banner is the one who created you, and he is the only one who can control you. Let him back." Superman's words were like an arrow through the Hulk's mind. In that moment, Bruce Banner, weak as he was, felt a ray of light in the darkness. He saw images of Betty Ross of his days, as a scientist of dreams of a world without suffering. But the Red Lantern ring did not let go so easily. It flared, and a red vortex formed, engulfing Superman. Energy blades cut into his body, though his Kryptonian skin was nearly impenetrable. Superman screamed, not from pain but from determination. He knew that if he did not wake Banner, everything would be over. Superman, imprisoned by the red energy vortex, continued to fight. He gathered all his strength, clenched his fists, and threw a supersonic punch, shattering the vortex. He charged at Hulk faster than light, and repeatedly punched him in the massive chest. Each punch shook the air, sending shockwaves that traveled for miles. But Hulk, protected by his ring, was unharmed. A red force field appeared around his body, absorbing Superman's punches like water flowing over stone. Hulk laughed loudly, a menacing laugh. "Superman is weak, Hulk will crush them all." He raised his foot, and time seemed to slow down. Superman, faster than light, realized that he could not stop what was about to happen. Hulk stomped the ground, and a huge explosion of red energy erupted. The shockwave traveled hundreds of miles, turning the Nevada desert into a giant crater. Sand and rock were blown away, the sky was dyed red, and the whole world seemed to shake under the Hulk's fury. Superman was thrown, his body crashing through a mountain range, leaving a long trail of smoke in the sky. He lay in the rubble, blood flowing from his forehead, breathing heavily. He looked at Hulk now, like a god of destruction, standing in a sea of red fire. The Red Lantern ring glittered as if laughing at his defeat. Superman, though badly injured, still tried to stand up. He was not fighting for victory, but for the responsibility of protecting the Earth, protecting the people he loved. Hulk stepped forward, each step making the ground shake. He raised his hand, and from the ring a giant red energy sword appeared, so large that it blocked the sky. "Superman will die," he roared, and swung the sword down. Superman, with the last of his strength, raised his hand to block the blade. The red energy cut into his hand, but he did not retreat. He looked straight into Hulk's eyes and said, "You are not Rage. You are Bruce Banner. And Bruce Banner will not let this world be destroyed." Superman's words, like a ray of light piercing the darkness, reached Hulk's mind. For a moment, he hesitated. The energy sword vibrated, as if it were struggling with Hulk's will. But the Red Lantern ring, unwilling to lose its host, pumped more red energy into his body. Hulk roared, and a new wave of energy exploded, pushing Superman back. When all seemed lost, a flash of green light appeared from the horizon. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, appeared, his ring glowing brightly. He had felt the power of the Red Lantern ring from afar, and knew that only the strongest will could confront its fury. "Superman," he shouted, "you do not fight alone." Hal raised his hand, and from his ring a cage of green energy formed, enveloping the Hulk. The cage vibrated, resisting the power of the red ring, but Hal did not give up. He focused all his will, creating green chains that bound the Hulk's limbs. "Hulk, stop," he shouted. "The ring is using you." Superman, though exhausted, rose and flew to Hal. He knew this was his last chance. He placed his hand on the Hulk's shoulder despite the red energy burning him. "Bruce," he said, his voice weak but powerful, "you are the strongest person I know, not because of the Hulk, but because you have fought the monster inside you for years. Fight one more time." In the mind of the Hulk, Bruce Banner heard Superman's words. He saw himself standing in a sea of fire, but this time he was not alone. Images of Betty Ross, of the people he loved, appeared like guiding lights. He clenched his fists, and with a mighty effort, he pushed back the rage. The Red Lantern ring vibrated as if it were screaming, but Banner's will was stronger. He took off the ring, and the red energy dissipated, leaving a weak Bruce Banner collapsed in the middle of the desert. The Hulk had won this battle against Superman, thanks to the unparalleled power of the ring and the limitless rage. But Superman, though defeated physically, had won mentally. He fought not only to defeat the Hulk, but to save him, to save the Earth. With the help of Hal Jordan, the Red Lantern ring was sealed, and Bruce Banner is taken to a secure facility where he continues to fight the monster within. The Nevada desert is now a wasteland, the mark of a battle that shook the world. Superman wounded, though, he flies into the sky looking down at the world he swore to protect. He wonders if true strength lies in the ability to destroy or in the ability to rise again after being knocked down. Hulk, with his Red Lantern ring, is the embodiment of destruction. But Superman, with his indomitable will, is a beacon of hope.